Hey team, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today we're going to be talking all about calories. Now the main question that I get asked on social media is how many calories should I be eating a day to lose fat? How do I know if I'm in a calorie deficit? How do I work out what my macro split should be? And I'm going to teach you all of those things today. So, in order to lose fat, you've got to be in a calorie deficit. You've probably heard that word being thrown around social media at the moment, and it's because all diets stem down to that one fact. And a calorie deficit essentially is just burning more calories than what you're consuming. You can do that by either eating a little bit less or moving a little bit more. I like to do a little bit of both. It sounds pretty easy, right? But actually, it's kind of complicated to work out how many calories you actually need. So I'm going to simplify it for you. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can work out your calories. You could just Google calorie calculator online and you'll find like a bunch of different calculators that will work it all out for you. You just type in your height, your weight, age, whatever, and it will find out how many calories you should be eating a day. They don't know how many calories you're currently eating. They don't know how much exercise you're currently doing. They don't really know anything about you other than your height, your weight, and your age. If you're lazy and you want something that's not probably going to be that accurate, do that. You could use the Harris-Benedict method, which is like some long equation. It's like 655.1 times like 9.56 times your body weight plus something times your height plus something times your age. Like, it's a long equation and nobody's got time for maths. And that just works out your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, which is basically just how many calories you're burning just by like living. You could also use the Mifflin method, which is like a simplified version of it, which is like 10 times your body weight in kg plus like 6 point something times your height and blah, 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 blah. But again, both of those just find out your BMR. Then you've got to times it by your activity levels, which, let's be quite real, we all overestimate. And then you'll find your maintenance calories. And even then, you're going to have to take something away from that to then find your actual deficit calories. Do you know what I mean? It's an actual mission. You could use MyFitnessPal to work out your calories if you're an absolute moron. Because, let me give you an example. Where's my phone? MyFitnessPal is like the dumbest way to do things because it literally sets your calories at like 1 calorie per day. And sorry, but there's no way I'm only eating 1 calorie per day. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. And once again, MyFitnessPal doesn't know anything about you, and it always underestimates the amount of calories you can have. It's notoriously bad at estimating your calories for you. Okay, so I'm setting my current weight to 69 kg, goal weight 65 kg. I want to lose 1 kilo a week. Activity level, let's be quite real. We all choose like active because, oh my god, I'd use Zumba twice a week. No, pop it as lightly active or not very active. Either way, it doesn't matter because we're not going to use this method. And then it's going to work out your calories for you. Mine, 1,200. Protein's at 60 grams, which is literally nothing. Carbohydrates, 150, and fats, 40. So, not good. So if we're not going to use any of those methods, which method should we choose? The first step is to figure out what your calories are on average each day. The way that we do that is through an assessment week. So all we're going to do is track your calories for a week. It may seem a little bit more long-winded to find out how many calories you should be on, but it's going to be so much more accurate for you as an individual. So to find a starting point for where you're at currently, I want you to track your calories for 1 week. You can do that using a tracking app of choice. I use MyFitnessPal, you can use LifeSum, you can use whatever tracking app you've got, and you're just going to input every single thing you eat for a week. You're also going to track your weight with that. So you're going to hop on the scales each morning and track your weight every single day. If you're not sure why I'm telling you to track your weight daily, go over to my Instagram and find my video on scale weight and it'll explain everything. Now make sure that throughout this week you're tracking every single thing. So many people will leave things out or track inaccurately throughout this week, and if at the end of the week you haven't lost any weight but your calories are telling you that it's like 1,300, you're lying. Now I want you to do one simple little step that's going to change the game for you when it comes to this assessment week. I actually want you to set your calories on MyFitnessPal / insert other tracking app here. I want you to set your calories to 5,000. Yeah, I know, sounds crazy, but I promise you it's going to help when it comes to tracking your foods throughout this week without having any sort of bias or any sort of shame about eating. Because on MyFitnessPal, when it tells you those stupid small amount of calories that it's going to set you to begin with, you're going to constantly be going into the red zone. And what I mean by the red zone is you're going to see all of the reds come up on MyFitnessPal saying you're over your calories, you're over your calories, you're over your calories. We don't want that. So I promise there's method to the madness. It's going to stop you feeling disheartened whenever you go into the red zone. So we've got to the end of the week. We've tracked your weight and your calories daily. Here's what's next. If you've gained weight throughout that week, you're probably in a calorie surplus. If you've lost weight throughout that week, you're probably in a deficit. And if your weight stayed the same, then you're probably at maintenance calories. Either way, if you've not lost weight, you probably need to lower your calories by say 200 or 300 and try again. You should start to see the scales drop. So you've worked out how many calories you're currently eating, you've worked out how to create that deficit from there. Now we need to work out what the macro split is going to be. Now your calories are split up into 4 different macronutrients. You've got your protein, your carbs, your fats, and alcohol, believe it or not. We're just going to throw alcohol to one side for this one. Now if you want more tips on how to add alcohol into your diet, click up here. Now in general, you're going to want to have a high protein diet because it's going to help you to retain muscle mass, which basically means that once you've lost that weight, you're going to be maintaining that shape underneath. It's what's going to help you feel toned. And it's also super satiating, so it means that you're going to be feeling less hungry throughout the day. Now throughout my time as a coach, I've noticed that pretty much every single person that comes to me, their assessment week is very low on protein. And generally, yours probably is too. So the first step is probably to increase that protein intake. Usually you're going to want anywhere between 2 and 3 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. It's probably going to take a while to work up to that, especially if you're used to eating a very low protein diet. So in general, just find your body weight and times it by 2. That's going to be your protein goal. Okay, so now we found our protein goal. You could just stop there. If you just wanted to track your calories and your protein, fine. But we're going to take it one step further and find your fats and your carbs as well. So fats are actually super important for your diet. You need a certain amount of them to help with things like hormone function and all that jazz. Now the baseline that you should be hitting is 0.5 grams per kilo. You'll probably notice during your assessment week whether you prefer carbs or fats. These 2 macros are completely interchangeable. So if you love carbs, keep your carbs a little bit higher. If you love fats, keep your fats a little bit higher. But you need to have a baseline of at least 0.5 grams per kilo of fat. If you do find that your fats are actually super high, there's so many things that you can do just to take them down without really noticing, like choosing leaner cuts of meat, cooking them fry light instead of oils. You'll find that your fats could add up super quickly because it contains 9 calories per gram as opposed to the 4 calories per gram that carbs and protein have. So just be aware of that when you're choosing your foods. And the thing that makes up the rest is carbs. Now this one does require a little bit of maths to work out, but I literally failed maths A level, so if I can do it, you can. To work out how many carbs you need, you're going to take your average daily calories for a deficit. So for example, if you're eating 1,900 calories a day and you're at maintenance, you're going to need to take 200 or 300 off of that and you'll find a good deficit there. So let's say 1,700. That's your calorie target. Then you're going to work out how many calories of protein you're having. So as we said earlier, you're going to take your body weight and times it by 2. Just because you know maths. For example, 70 kilos times 2, 140 grams of protein. Now, like I said, protein has 4 calories per gram, so all you're going to do is times your 140 by 4. That's 560 calories coming from protein. Now you're going to work out your fat calories. So once again, it is down to personal preference when it comes to fat, but I usually go for about 0.6 grams per kilo. So 0.6 times 70 is 42. Times that by 9, which is the 9 calories per gram of fats, and you've got 378. Yeah, I'm using a calculator, and what? So that's 378 calories coming from your fats. You're going to take those 2 numbers away from your total. So that's 762 calories left to play with. So all you're going to do is divide that number by 4 calories per gram of carbs, and you've got 190 grams of carbs. And again, like I said, you can change carbs and fats around. So if you find that you're constantly going over your fats, but you're always under your carbs, you can swap them around a bit so your fats are a little bit higher and your carbs are a little bit lower, and vice versa. And if you find that you're still not losing weight on those calories that you've set yourself, drop them by another 100 or 2 and go again. But rule number 1 of weight loss is being able to adhere to your diet for long enough. So if you find that those macros just aren't working for you, have a little play around with them and go again. If you're really struggling with this and you've got no idea what I've been going on about for the last 10 minutes, go to trainwithjo.com and I'll do all the hard work for you. And there you have it, my super easy, super accurate way to work out how many calories you need each day to lose weight. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment below what sort of videos do you want me to film next. Click that subscribe button and I'll see you in my next video.